Sometimes you got to be careful, because sometimes your own household is your worst critics and your worst enemies. People that you grew up with. When you start, that's why you can't be so quick to tell folk what God is going to do in your life. Joseph made that mistake. His own brothers were jealous of him. Sold him into slavery. His own brothers. But what God, what Satan meant for bad, God turned it around and used it for his good. Joseph, he started out in Potiphar's house. Came out of slavery, ended up in Potiphar's house. Potiphar, his wife, started seeing this little young stud. Look at him. Oh, wow, who is he? It's my husband's manservant. Every day she would go by, she would whisper words. Be with you. Joseph played it off for a few days. I ain't going into detail. I know we got little young kids in here. Joseph played it off for a few days. She kept on making her advances. And one day this lady, Miss Pop, she done got all the servants to work outside the house that day. I don't want nobody working in the house but Joseph. Ain't nobody else working. Y'all don't need to work in the house today. Just Joseph. I just need Joseph in here today. Alright? And she made her advances at Joseph. And when she made her advances at Joseph, Joseph kept trying to tell her no. She grabbed hold of Joseph. Joseph slipped out of his coat. He got out of his coat. He left that coat right there with his pocket. He took off. He hit the heel. Joseph said, good as your husband been to me, I can never betray him like this. Oh, I'm not going to tell nobody. I ain't going to tell him. Joseph said, you sure ain't? Because I ain't going to be able to be nothing for you to tell. He got up out of there. But then she started screaming to the top of her lungs. I can imagine. The servants came running in. This man raped me. This servant Joseph, this Israelite man, he raped me. They couldn't prove it otherwise, because she had his coat. Then Mr. Potiphar came home. He got the news of it, got wind of it. He didn't wait for Joseph to answer no questions. He didn't even ask Joseph no questions. He was so angry to where he ordered them to throw him in prison. But watch God. Most of us would have given up right then. Even though Joseph had a prison sentence with an unlimited, he didn't know when he was going to get out. But guess what? God used him in the prison. The gift that God had placed in Joseph, he started interpreting dreams. And the prisoners, amen, noted him as an awesome man of God. There were two people in there that used to work for Potiphar's household, a butler and a baker. Joseph had a dream that the butler was going to be restored back to the household, but the baker was going to be killed, hung. And guess what? A few days later, came to pass. They came down to the prison. Baker, come on up. He thought he was going to go free. He was hung. The butler was restored back to his position. But Joseph told the butler, when you get out, remember me. Remember the person that interpreted this dream for you. But But as soon as the butler got restored back to his power, his position, he didn't have one thought about Joseph. Years went on by. Joseph still in prison. But then, let me show you how God works. If you do what God says, if you do what's right, if your ways are pleasing to God, God will always put a remembrance in somebody's heart. The Potiphar, not Potiphar, but the king, when he had these dreams, he sent out throughout his land, his realm, and he wanted to see if anybody could interpret these dreams. His astrologers, his magicians, nobody throughout his regime could interpret the dream. And he kept insisting that they find somebody. And all of a sudden the butler remembered, oh, I forgot. There was a young Hebrew boy named Joseph who has the power to interpret dreams. They brought him up, and the king told him his dreams about the lean cattle and the fat cattle. And Joseph began to interpret. He said, this is the interpretation thereof. He said, there are going to be 7 lean cattle, which represented 7 years of plenty. A famine, excuse me. And then the 7 fat cattle represented 7 years of plenty. And he said, now, what do we need to do to offset this? We already know there are going to be 7 years of famine, 7 years of plenty. He said, what do we need to do? He said, I'm going to put you in charge of it. And during the 7 years of plenty, build up, stock up the barns, fill up every barn, every household. Then when the 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine come in, we'll be able to sustain everybody throughout Egypt. God was setting, sometime when you go through adversity, God be setting you up for your breakthrough. Everything you go through ain't gonna be a flower bed of Eve. He'll let you go through some trouble sometime, but in the midst of your trouble, God is gonna do what? He's gonna bring you over to victory's avenue. Watch this. Some storms ain't created by the devil. Oh, I know that's the devil. Some things you go through ain't the devil. That person who lied on you, that person who could have messed you up on the job, kept you from getting that promotion, just it ain't always the devil. Sometimes God got something greater in store for you. So he allows the controversy to be stirred up on your behalf. Because sometimes it's can't get wrong. Sometimes we won't go to our purpose. God got to push us to our purpose. So he will stir up controversy. And y'all, how many of you ever been in a situation you knew you were innocent, but it didn't matter how much you knew you were innocent, everybody else thought you were guilty? How many of you ever been through something like that in your life? Be honest. You ain't got to tell me what. I ain't gonna ask you what. You knew you were innocent, but everybody else thought you were guilty. And guess what? It almost appeared by the evidence that you were guilty. Now how many can attest to that? I thought some of the hands would go down. That's when you know you're in the hands of God. That's when you know. But when you're in a situation like that, my God, you look guilty. But guess what? God God will always, when you give it to him, he will always come in and vindicate you. It may look like you're getting ready to be destroyed and getting ready to go under, but God will step in your circumstances and he'll vindicate you every time. How many of you know that to be true? We are so quick to want to destroy and get revenge and retaliate against people for doing you wrong. Be willing to give up your right when somebody else is wrong. Because guess what? In the end, it's all about God. It's all about God. It ain't about us. It's not about you. It's about God. He gets the glory. That's why we can't get so caught up on material things. It's okay to have material possessions, but don't let your possessions possess you. You possess it. Say that, somebody. So see, if you possess it, so what if you lose it? So what if the repo man? Same way they made that, they got another. Car locks are opening up every day. Am I right? The housing market, come on. They've been travel down the road sometimes. They build a new house, a new subdivision every day. So what you lost that house? So they foreclosed on your house. You ain't the first one, and you ain't gonna be the last one. Let them laugh. Let them laugh. Some of the ones who laugh, they ain't got them. So don't worry about that. You trust God. That makes sense? You trust God. God wants his people to know that in the midst of your crisis, you got to learn how to praise God. You got to learn how to glorify him. Have a praise celebration. Now, let me tell you, when you're in the midst of a loss and you break out with a praise, folk gonna look at you funny. Oh my God, something must be wrong with Sister Kim. Something must be wrong with Sister Francis. She praising God and she just got put outdoors. This man had been in this condition all of his life. And yet, they knew if they could get into Jesus, he could get the help he needed. They came together. See, that's the first thing. You got to come together. The church can't be divided. You got to come together. Say that, somebody. Well, we miss it at because folk don't dress like us. Because folk don't look like us. Because folk don't drive the kind of cars we drive. We want to look down on them. Baby, if you ain't got no car, you still welcome to the house of God. If you living on Skid Row, if you're a homeless person, you still welcome to the house of God. If you ain't took a bath in 2 weeks, you still welcome. But I'm going to tell you what we'll do. I'm going to tell you what we'll do. Somebody come in and we look at them and they don't fit out what we think churchy. We'll sit them right on back in. Come on in, brother. We sit right here by the door. Then somebody else come in. They can be the biggest group, the biggest drug dealer in town. They come in with a bottle of 500 suit on. Come on up, brother. Come on up. They can be not just murdered 3 people. Close to the sun as we can. You see how we do? That's not the way the church is supposed to be acting. That's the world. Man looks looks on the outward appearance, but God looks on the heart. Folk quick to judge you by what you got and what you don't have. But God is looking at the content of your heart. God said, I want to see what kind of heart you got. Because on the outside, look like you fixed up. But on the inside, you're a dead man's gone. Say amen, somebody. Amen. So we got to learn how to praise God in the midst of all of our trials, all of our troubles. The doors for the Lord's house is open. Let us stand and reverence the Lord. Hallelujah. Every head bowed, every eye closed. Whoever you are, just know Jesus is just a prayer away. He loves you so much to where he was willing to die on the cross so that we can have a right to the tree of life. Isn't it good to know that God is that kind of God that no matter how many mistakes we made, he's still standing there with outstretched arms? Isn't that good to know?